Yeah, we're supposed to have a little bit of an intro video played right before we went live, but it doesn't matter. It's taking forever to upload onto StreamYard, which I thought it already was, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is Grant Chachere, of course. You're the owner of Rougarou Sports Media, as well as a reporter for um, Rougarou Sports Media, reporter for CrescentCitySports.com. Joined here by Jace Lejeune of Gridiron Football. No, it is not follows 6-3 in extra innings. Right now, we're having some. So it's just really
Yeah, if you missed the show, Bruce, I said that we're gonna have some Wi-Fi issues at first, because the Wi-Fi keeps going in and out. So I'm a iPhone ready to rock and roll, just in case something happened. That's why
Yeah.
my face is so close to the screen. As I said, if you haven't heard what I'm saying, yes, another crazy night of football. Yes, we are having some Wi-Fi issues. Yes, I am wearing a bunch of Yankee stuff. Yes, I know the Yankees lost 6-3. On a walk-off grand slam by Freddie
Yeah.
Freeman. Yes, I know it look ridiculous. Yes, it all looks ridiculous. I got a haircut, by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed. It's hat hair, basically.
Looking
But
smart.
it's
Looking
another,
smart.
yeah, no, I know. It's like just wearing a hat so it doesn't look as sharp. But anyway, uh, Jace, another crazy night of football. We had some big time games happening tonight. And because of Wi-Fi issues, this we won't show the scoreboard on the screen because I am doing it from my phone, literally. So, hopefully, I have enough Wi-Fi to at least go on the scoreboard. So no show from the computer, but luckily, um, and that's a good thing, about StreamYard, which I love dearly, is that I'm able to use it from my phone in case stuff like this happen. So anyway, this show is actually being broadcast not only on Twitter and YouTube as usually, but it's also going to be on Facebook. So anybody's on those platforms, please leave a comment, if you're on YouTube, like the video, and subscribe to Ruby Sports Media's YouTube channel. It's for free for anybody wondering. On Twitter, make sure to follow my account and also Jace's account as well. Mine's at it's my name, but like last name, first name. Jace, of course, is Jace Lejeune, so that's pretty easy. And then also make sure to follow Ruger Sports Media on Twitter. Right now we have 8 viewers. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. If you have questions, please leave questions. This is an interactive show, and we're more than willing to answer any questions or talk about anything that you bring up. Like, for example, let's say you want to talk about the Russell Alexandria game. Alexandria won 40-36 instead of defeated. And we have to make the discussion of whether or not Alexandria is actually one of the best team in the state. And we've been talking about Rustin, we've talked about Neville. Neville's going that conversation. We talked a lot about Carr, who won 62-16 over Easton yesterday.
Yeah.
So Jace, just really just summarize the whole weekend. Just some
Yeah.
a few, however long you want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to help you. I can help you get your mind over the Yankees losing in extra innings in game one. So I'll definitely try to help you overcome that. But anyway, it's been an entertaining football season in general, Grant, and it just continues. We have a really good slate. Uh, when we talk about like it's not like the big time slate with like big time matchups across the board, but you got some pretty good ones, and you just mentioned it right off the bat. I mean, you mentioned Ruston, you mentioned Alexandria. That game Whoever wins that game is looking really good in terms of a district championship. Obviously with Neville too. So what Ruston team we're going to be seeing, right? And then we expected Ruston to have like a bounce back game. And I think they were ready. To be honest with you, Grant. I mean, it was a back and forth game, but it just comes to
Yeah.
show you how good this Ash football team is. And like you mentioned, Grant, I think we got to start talking about this Ash football team more. This is a really good football team. And these are these type of games, right? Like in the past for Ash, whether it's like West Monroe, Ruston, they just couldn't really get over the hump, right? Now they're able to win these games, and it really shows you how special this football team is. And we're going to find out pretty quickly, Grant. I mean, who's the better team? Because a district championship game, Neville and Ash going against each other, man, that is going to be
Yeah.
a dandy. That's going to be a really good one to watch for a district title. So that is going to be really fun. I know Alex was out there. I know we'll get a pretty good breakdown from Alex about this game on Ball in the Boot on our show for Gridiron. So he made the trip up to Alexandria and cover that one. So we'll get some
Really,
coverage.
he drove all the way up to Alexandria.
Yep, he did. He did. So he drove
He's
to
insane.
Alexandria. Yep. You want to go see both teams? And I was like, hey, if you want to go see them, go see them. So major shout out to Alex for making that drive up there to Alexandria and covering that game. So major kudos there.
Also, just want to mention this real quick too. I just saw
Yeah.
the score. It's crazy. So you know how we mentioned that Shaw, because we talked about before the show that Shaw beat Kenner Discovery
Yeah.
79-0. This is a week following where Shaw beat Walker 59-14.
Yep.
Walker beat Dutchtown 44-24 today.
How about that? What a big win for Walker. And actually, I went back and watched the interview with Coach Mastretta and Alex. Alex was actually at that game last week when Dutchtown was able to get a win last week over Denham Springs. And Coach Mastretta was like, I mean, usually you're undefeated, you're feeling pretty good. Like Coach Mastretta was like, we're not there yet. I mean, he said in his post game interview with Alex, like, we're not a championship team yet, and that really surprised me a little bit, knowing that they're undefeated, they're winning games. But Coach Mastretta said, like, we got a long way to go to be where we were last year. So I thought that was some interesting comments from Coach Mastretta, and you saw like, hey, it's a crazy district. You talk about it, Grant, and I agree with you. There is a crazy district that anybody on any given Friday can win. And what a bounce back win. Really, Coach Mahaffey, the Walker Wildcats, he had a big time win over Dutchtown. And really, if you think about it, I believe Walker's now in the driver's seat of a district championship. So it's just one of those districts that you just never know. It can go either way. And right now, like, it can go 4 or 5 different teams' ways. And right now, it's the Wildcats. And it shows you how kind of topsy turvy the district is. What a swing of 2 weeks. I mean, you get blown out by Shaw and to bounce back, get a big win over Dutchtown, get a hold of the district championship. It just comes to show you, like, when you have a bunch of high school kids playing, Grant, expect the unexpected. And then there is a lot of unexpected things that happen this week. And that is certainly one of them. And we've had some crazy finishes, some crazy scores that we'll talk about throughout the scoreboard when you bring it up. But, yeah, it's one of those weeks, Grant. There's not a lot of big-time headlining matchups, but the ones we get, expect chaos, and there was some chaos tonight.
Yeah, and there was a whole lot. There was a lot of chaos. Well, I don't say it was chaos. It was a close victory. I mean, Jesuit beat Garn Curtis. They came back from 10-3 at halftime to win 17-10. And I know
Yeah, I
your
saw that.
game. There wasn't really much chaos. I know you're
No,
announcer,
par for the course.
play announcer for Episcopal. I saw the score 44-16. Jace,
Yeah.
just kind of give you a brief summary of what happened in that game.
Yeah, really grand the last game. I mean, congratulations, by the way. Reed Chauvin actually won Gridiron Football Player of the Week this week for 6 touchdowns and
Yes.
Slaughter Charter. But it was a sloppy game on the special team side for Episcopal last week. And that's what really made the game somewhat close on the road against a good Slaughter Charter team. But Episcopal, they had a clean special teams game. Brody Bailey had a punt return for a touchdown. They had a safety to start the football game. Reed Chauvin had 2 touchdowns. Nathan Sanchez had 2. And then you had David Olin with 1. Zach Q threw a touchdown tonight, too. So they went up they pretty much cruise controlled. They got up 44 to nothing, and putting the backups in the game that allowed Northeast to bring a couple guys in. But this was senior night, Grant. This was actually the last home regular season game for Episcopal. It was senior night.
Mhm.
19 seniors on this football team for Episcopal. So this is a
Wow.
big senior group, and that veteran leadership, Grant, is going to be tested next week. We're going to talk about it on your show. I'm sure we'll talk on my show, but number
Mhm.
one versus number two in Division 3 select playoff bracket. Right now, Dunham's number one, Episcopal's number two. They're playing next Friday.
Mhm.
So this is a huge game, not only for district, but potentially for the number one seed in the playoffs. So that is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then next week, Jason, know there's another big time game with Mazin Prep, and
Yeah, you
I guess you got my bedtime. I got my sorry, I just got my bedtime notification off. So I don't know. I don't know why. I need to take that off. I don't. I think I did that as a butt dial one time, and I just haven't bothered to take it off. I just heard it in my earbud. But anyway, that's weird. But anyway, yeah. But going back to what I was saying, Jace. And the next Thursday is another big time game. With Mazda Prep and U High. And that's on Halloween night. You going to that one? Because I know you're
Yeah,
gonna be in the
so
Bayou
it's
jersey.
either going to be me or it's going to be. I know there's one of our riders that really wants to go to that game, so good chance that he may end up going to. So it'll be somebody from Gridiron will be there. I can guarantee you that. I just don't know if it's going to be me or it will be somebody else, but we'll definitely have that game covered on Thursday.
I got you. And but Jace, there's another game you covered last night. It was a pretty big game between two undefeated teams,
Yep.
Catholic Point Capee and St. Edmund. That was a game I was actually planning on going to until the
Mhm.
Easton card, the
Right.
Easton card game got rescheduled Thursday, of course, as you may well know, or if you don't know yet. But Taylor Swift is in town in New Orleans.
Yep.
So a lot of games have to be reshuffled because they need the extra, because they need security detail for the Taylor Swift concert, so to make it easier. For everybody else, they moved some games to Thursday, so it can help mitigate, the issue with security because you need as much security detail,
Right.
downtown
Right.
as much as possible because you have not only is it a Taylor Swift concert, we're talking she's probably arguably the biggest music act right now.
Hmm.
I mean, she became a billionaire off of one tour alone. That's still it's ongoing, but I think it's near the end. I don't know. It's lasted forever. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
Jace, but it's so a lot of, but you need as much security detail to not only protect the people going to concerts, but you also got to think about the people that are coming out of state to
Yeah.
come see this concert as well.
Right.
So it's very important that you have as much security detail, downtown New Orleans. But
Right.
so that's why Carr and Easton got moved to Thursday instead of playing on Friday. Uh, but Jace, talk about. I'm sorry, rambled about Taylor Swift, but Jace, talk about the game last night between Catholic Point Capee where they were able to win 26-22 over St. Edmund.
Yeah, it lived up to his billing. Now, a lot of people were expecting a little bit more higher scoring, especially how both offenses have been playing to this point. But it was a swing of momentum, right? So Catholic Point Capee really struck first. They jumped up 12-0. June Morrison, the quarterback for the Hornets, he's a good player. We haven't talked about him that much, but he's a really good player for the
Yeah.
Hornets. Brooks Caps is a really good receiver. He actually went to our media day at the beginning of the year when Coach Carruth and the Hornets visited us at the Gridiron football office, and he set up a touchdown with a long catch, and then he had a second. He had the second catch he had was down the sidelines for a touchdown. So they pulled out 12-0. But St. Edmund wasn't going away. They showed why they're a really good football team. Henry Summerlin had a hat trick in the first half, and at one point St. Edmund was down 19-6, but they scored two touchdowns just like that. Henry Summerlin was really the key piece to the St. Edmund offense. Had 227 yards rushing, three touchdowns, and it seemed like Catholic Point Capee controlled the first half, but they found themselves down at the half, 22-19. But in the second half, it was a different story. Like Catholic Point Capee's defense was the key in the second half. St. Edmund had opportunities on fourth down, but what really frustrated this offense, the passing game wasn't really in sync. We've seen Kane Wells, who's had an absolute incredible senior season, but the passing game wasn't really there that night. There was a couple overthrown passes. It was just a little bit off through the passing game from what we've seen, and that resulted them being really behind the chains a little bit, and that's hurt them because Catholic Point Capee has really done a great job of stopping on fourth down. I think St. Edmund was like 2 for 7 on fourth down conversions, and they had the lead in the second half, but Catholic Point Capee was able to take one touchdown drive, and that made the difference. St. Edmund was scoreless. As good as that offense was, Grant, they were averaging 50 points per game entering that matchup, and they were held to pretty much less than half that average that game. Their defense was Catholic Point Capee's defense was phenomenal. Roy Lambert, big 58, he's a mountain. You cannot move him, and he really affected their offense, their running game a little bit. Cohen Higginbottom puts a lot of pressure on Kane West, made a lot of big plays for them as well. So they had a lot of guys hurt, Grant, but they were what impressed me about Catholic Point Capee in that win was how tough and gritty this team was. I talked to Coach Carruth after the game. There were times they have about 27, so they have 27 guys on their team, but at some points, 18 players are dressed out at some points this year. So at 1A, which is not saying a lot. Like Jew Morrison, he was hurt. He was playing both ways, quarterback, safety. They had to tape him up. He was looking off the field, but he still had a really good football game for Catholic Point Capee. He ran for 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown for him. Threw for a touchdown as well. He was the difference in that football game, running and throwing for the offense and the defense. Catholic Point Capee was actually one of the most impressive defensive efforts I've seen this year against a really good St. Edmund football team. And Catholic Point Capee flying under the radar. Guess what? They're undefeated, and they got a big couple of games left in the season. I think Sacred Heart and Opelousas Catholic at the end of the season. But 8-0, Catholic Point Capee has a chance to finish the regular season 10-0, and watch out for the Hornets, man. I mean, they are gritty and they're stingy. So this is a really good football team, and Coach Carruth has got them focused, and that was a big win. And now a lot of eyes are now on the Hornets after a very impressive win, and it should be.
Yeah, I mean, just I thought we were going to lose you for a second because you kind of left the screen for a bit. I think you have some Wi-Fi issues too, Jace. I think you're not the only one dealing with some Wi-Fi issues.
Maybe I gotta check around my apartment to see if we got something going on over here. But as long as y'all got me, y'all got me.
Yeah, sure. But Jace, I also want to bring this up because I just saw this and I almost want to interrupt what you're saying because I couldn't believe it. But Jace, I'm gonna say the score real quick, and actually let's play a game. Let's guess the score. General Trask and Delta
I saw the score. Was it like 86,
84 to 80, 82.
84 82.
Delta Charter won 84 to 82. No, we're not in that. No, basketball game, high school basketball game. Basketball season has started. Of course, the NBA started a couple of days ago. College basketball is getting ready to start their season. But it's not yet high school basketball season, and we already got it's an 84 to 82 game. So
they go to 4 overtimes though. I mean, that probably helped a little bit with the.
I wasn't really keeping up. All I know is I saw a score. I wasn't really keeping up with it. I just saw the score, but 80. Regardless, there was no defense being played.
I'm not making an excuse for them, but 4 overtimes too. I think it helps a little bit. So it probably was going into the game. Still pretty high scoring, probably in the 60s. Going into overtime. But wow, what a game! 4 overtimes. That's we haven't really seen a game go that deep into it. 4 overtimes this year. That's insane. But what a football game up there in North Louisiana.
Oh yeah, for sure, Jace. Also, let's talk about the games I went to real quick before we go into the full board. But on Thursday I went to Carr and Easton. Of course. It was the first time I got to see my little brother play Jackson. My little brother Jackson, of course, is the starting rover or strong safety for the Warren Easton Eagles. So it's the first time I got to see him play in a full game. And unfortunately, just had to be against Carr. And
Yeah.
oh boy, I'm not sure, Jace, if you. I know you saw the score, but
Yeah.
the game was broadcast on CrescentCitySports.com. And he was in for the first 3 possessions, but then he had to get taken out. And that not because he played bad, it's because they could not stop the pass. So they had to put in their prevent defense to stop John Johnson. John Johnson, of course, he went 12 for 14. Well, it's either 12 for 14 or 13 for 15 for 302 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and he also had a rushing touchdown as well.
Wow.
Almost half of his pass attempts were touchdowns.
That's insane. That's Gridiron Football Player of the Week numbers right there, Grant.
Yeah. I mean, and then Teron Francis was I think he had like 7 catches for like I forgot. So I think it was like 7 catches for like over 160 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was just an insane display of offense. I mean, the score was 42. Was it 42? It was like 41-14 at halftime or something like that. I mean, it was just a blowout of epic proportions, and really that was I know Easton's really been struggling, but that was a statement win for Carr.
Really.
It showed we're not messing around, and next week they'll go against Curtis, which is a perfect segue, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But it was a statement win after having a sluggish game against Jesuit, and Jesuit has played some team stuff, which is another segue moment. It's just segue galore right now. But Jesuit, they've been known for playing teams, a lot of good team stuff this year. Of course, they've been Edie White, they've been Brother Martin, St. Aug. I know St. Aug's been struggling as of late, but at the time it was a really good win, considering the fact that they were down, I think, by a touchdown or 2 in that game. And really, a lot of people, if you look at the game, St. Aug should have won, but Jesuit made the plays to win the game. Yeah. And that's what good teams do. Jesuit is a good team. But then you also got to look at they played a lot of good team stuff, including Carr. Carr only scored 21 points in that game. That's the lowest point total Carr scored all year.
Yeah.
So it's a huge shout out to the Blue Jay defense. But Carr, that's still fresh in their minds. So you know what? We're going to put up 62 against our longtime rivals in Easton, and that's what they did. So hell of a performance by John Johnson to our Francis Dejon Smith. By the way, he had like 3 catches for about 120 yards. 2 of those were touchdowns. Just an awesome performance. Brian Sanchez had 2 rushing touches as well. It's a great performance by Carr's offense. Next week they'll be going against one of the better defenses in the state with John Curtis.
Yeah,
John Curtis is actually the best scoring defense in the Catholic League. They've only allowed, I think, like 16, 17 points per game. Their defense is arguably the best in the Catholic League. The issue is that their offense hasn't produced, and that was evident tonight in their 17-10 loss against Jesuit. Like I said, perfect segue moment. But and I knew this going into this game because I was talking to Chris Dabe, and it was VK Jones, and I think it was Jared. Jared was on the show previously, but we were talking Jared Boyd, of course, of the Hashtag Show, and also Crescent City Sports as well, and we're just all talking about the Jesuit Curtis game. We're all basically all in agreement that hey, we think Jesuit's gonna be Curtis tomorrow. Because that's just how Curtis has been all year. Usually, and we're all confident in saying that, which is kind of a weird thing to say.
Against Curtis.
But against a team like Curtis, you're never confident to pick a team over Curtis. I mean, and that's the thing, because when you're confident, then you get burned. That's what happened to both of us last year, and they get Carr, and they beat the living crap out of Carr last year. Then that ended up being
at all.
That ended up being the record-breaking win for Coach JT.
Yep.
It was able to break the national record. But as we're saying, it's just so Curtis. And that's the thing with Curtis. The issue is not because their defense, the offense hasn't been able to produce points. They've been turning the ball over. Anytime they get in a good field position or have a great opportunity to score, they squander either by turning the ball over, doing penalties, certain stuff like that. And that show tonight. I mean, tonight, uh, Curtis. So the Jesuit was able to get the lead first, 3-0 on a field goal. But the thing was, uh, on the first field goal attempt, they jumped off. Well, no, there was a guy who lined up offsides, and the field goal ended up being a missed kick. But the guy was like, I think his head was over the line, and then the refs called it, and obviously the kickers ruled no good, but because of the offsides, Jesuit had another chance to kick the field goal, and they ended up making it. So Jesuit took the lead 3-0. Curtis came back the very next drive. That was finished off by a 37-yard run by Jacob Boudreaux. I'm pulling up my notebook right now as we speak. Oh, where's my notebook? I had all the stuff on it. Where is it at? I just had it. I was just looking at it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, here we go. Right here. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, so that's what happened. But then after that, where is it at? No. So, it wasn't the very next drive. It was a couple of drives later. But so Jacob Boudreaux was able to score a 37-yard touchdown with just over 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. But then after that, it was just nothing. It was basically nothing burger. John Curtis got inside, Jesuit territory, but 3 straight incompletions. Then Jesuit got the ball back with just under a minute to go before halftime. But then Taylor Norton throws an interception. And then then Curtis was able to get the ball back. They got in field goal range, and they're able to kick the field goal to lead 10-3 at halftime. And that's where things got a little bit interesting. This is where the game kind of got interesting. It wasn't a defensive battle per se. It just got, it became an interesting Catholic League game between 2 really good defenses. And let me pull up who got the intercept. So, and then Jesuit got the ball back. They looked like they're driving up, they're putting that drive together, but they couldn't. They had 3 and out. Curtis had a quick 3.
Well, looks like we lost Grant. He was middle breaking down Curtis and Jesuit, and I don't think Grant is on the screen anymore. So Grant's going to be trying to get back pretty shortly. But I mean, my thoughts on it is it's with John Curtis. When you're playing against Jesuit, Jesuit's been a scrappy team this year. They really been. So you have to be on your toes when you're playing against a Jesuit football team that's been really good defensively. And when we talk about in the car, I would hate to play in the car when they didn't have a great showing. So that was a big win to get a win over Warren Easton, like Grant said earlier. 62-15. Like, I would hate to play Bryce Brown in a car knowing that they're coming off, not their top performance, and they're usually dangerous, and that's when they've been really, really good. So they've been pretty much almost unbeatable when they're when they're coming off a bad performance too. So when Grant said, like, I do not want to play in the car after somewhat of a lackluster showing. And that shows you why right now they are the team to beat. It just really showed there was a conversation we had between who's the number 1 team in the state. We say this every week. Ruston are in the car, and Ruston dropped 2 straight. And right now you got to stay in the car. They're still undefeated. They're still playing strong. Jesuit, what a season they're having right now. After a down year in the Catholic League last year, I think this defense getting a chance to see him earlier this year. It was very important for them to have a big time, have a better season. They have 5-3, have won some big games, so that's big for Jesuit to have the type of bounce back season, like you said, Grant. But I think you're trying to figure out your issues and everything. So
yeah, my phone died. That's what happened. I thought
your phone died.
But then my phone died. So where did I leave off at?
Oh, you were breaking down, I think, the second half. You were starting with the second half of the Jesuit John Curtis game. That's where you left off at.
Okay, gotcha. So Say that one more time. So I'm
The
tripping.
second half of Jesuit John.
Okay. Okay. So yes. Okay. So in the second half, yes. So Sean Curtis was able to get they're able to get the ball back. Well, Jesuit was able to get the ball back after 3 and out, but then they threw another. They're inside Jesuit's 23-yard line, but then they throw a pick as another pick, and once again Taylor Norton threw his second pick of the game, and it was to. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick. It was to Troy Brown. So Troy Brown had 2 interceptions for the game. I mean, he was a big time player all night. Made some big time hits, big time tackles, and of course he had 2 interceptions. By the way, he's actually a guy I told you to watch out for your bowl game.
Yeah.
But Curtis was able to get the ball back. It seemed like the momentum's on their side. But then it was basically a quick 3 and out. I mean, they had 5 plays, and it ended with a pass interference, incomplete pass. So Curtis, like I said, they've had a hard time they've had a hard time all year taking advantage of the situations that they're put in, and that showed there. But then so Jesuit gets the ball back, driving down the field. They're running. Gavin Palmazzano is having a great. He's starting to get a rhythm. He's running the ball hard and well, and they're able to get to, and they're able to get into inside the 2-yard line. Mm-hmm. But then a bad snap forces them back 15 to 16 yards, and then the next play, Taylor Norton finds Roman Laurie, who had a great game. He had a big time game in this game. He catches the 18-yard touchdown pass. It's a beautiful thrown ball too, over the Curtis defender, and the game's all tied up at 10-10. So this is in the start of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Then Curtis gets the ball back. They get inside Jesuit territory, but the run gets stuffed on 3rd down at Jesuit's 42-yard line. Jesuit gets the ball back. Once again, Roman Laurie makes another big-time play, and it was for 36 yards, a 36-yard pass. Well, actually, hold on. Let me check that. No, let me check that. 14:36. So 46-yard pass. So 10 yards off, but 46-yard pass. Another beautifully thrown ball, too. And really, if the ball wasn't thrown on the boundaries, if the ball was thrown a little bit more infield, it would have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
But I think it was better for Jesuit that it was thrown on the boundary because they're able to run the clock out a little bit more.
Yep.
And then they get this 3rd down. Taylor Norton scrambles out, and he finds I actually had the roster right here. Let me pull it up. It's number 5. Let me get out of this real quick. To number 5, Calvin McGee. He's only a sophomore receiver. Calvin McGee, a big time catch too. He makes that leaping catch, and it looks like he's about to go out of bounds, but his butt lands inbounds. It's one of those plays. It was a bang play.
I got you.
The ref had a great eye on the play, and he made the right call. Really, both refs did. So it's a great call, great catch. Jesuit was still in it. All right, they scored the game-winning touchdown. Then the Gavin Palmazzano running the ball hard again. Nearly gets inside the 3-yard line. He gets the ball again. He gets a yard or two, but he wasn't able to break over the plane. The very next play, Taylor Norton tries to leap over the line, and just gets the ball enough over the goal line for the touchdown. And of course, Curtis, the Jesuit was able to stop Curtis from scoring the game-winning touchdown, and game over. Jesuit has a big-time win over Sean Curtis, 17-10. They improved to 5-3. Next week, they will play Rummel, which is another so it's going to be another defensive battle.
Oh, yeah.
Rummel's trying to get revenge.
Take the under.
And that's a big-time rivalry. That's an underrated rivalry game. Because there's a lot of people. So a lot of people that went to Rummel, their parents went to Jesuit, actually.
Yeah.
And then when Rummel opened up in the Jefferson Parish, that's what led to a lot of their sons going to Rummel. So that's kind of what happened there. So like for example, Ken, we've of course my boss Ken Trahan on the show, owner of CrescentCitySports.com, sports director, the ticket 106.1. He's a big time Rumble guy, like huge.
Yeah.
Like his car is literally a blue and white. What's it called? It's a Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
And he has a Rumble, like a Rumble sticker on the back. Like so, it's like Rumble blue, like the light blue, shade of blue. Yeah, he's a big time Rumble guy. His dad went to Jesuit. So like so it's a big time. It's a big time rivalry. I don't think a lot of people, outside of New Orleans know that. It's actually it's an underrated rivalry. But that's a big game coming up. And Curtis Carr game kind of lost his luster a little bit.
Yeah.
Curtis having 3 losses now, and the way Carr's playing, that game's not gonna be pretty. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm okay if I get burned again, but I'm also not afraid to say, hey, that game's not looking so good.
And you got motivation from last year too, Grant. I mean, like you said, John Curtis, with the record-breaking win, being able to really handle in the car. I mean, you don't see that often, if at all. It's really rare to have in the car just get handled like that. So there's going to be motivation as well. And I was saying this too, Graham, while you're having your technical difficulties too. But I do not want to be like Warren Easton. They just went into a storm because you don't want to play in the car, especially when they're coming off for Bryce Brown, for his expectations of this program, because he has high expectations for these guys when they're coming off, even though it was a win, more of a lackluster performance. So when you have in the car like a motivated in the car football team that's focused and locked in, you have no shot. I mean, you have no shot whatsoever, and that's what in the car proved. So I hated for Warren Easton to be in that spot, knowing that in the car was wanting to come into that football game hungry, motivated, and ready to come bounce back after the game they had before. So,
I just have him on my mind that I'm not using my mic right now, so the audio. I've honestly, since I've been doing the podcast, I've been kind of a freak when it comes to the presentation and stuff like that. I don't know. I think that just comes with it when you're on the job, for as long as I've had. This is my 3rd year being a part of media. I'm still learning, seeing new things every day. And just, the thing about podcasting, having a mic, having a white light and everything, it's just, ever since I got more and more stuff, it's just, I'm just kind of a perfectionist with this stuff. So I don't know. It's bothering me. I don't think it's bothering anybody else who's watching it, but it's just personally, it's just bothering me. I don't know why. But Jace, we got to talk about this. About the scoreboard and everything. There's a lot of big time games. So let's get it going. Usually we'll have it on the screen, but because of some of the Wi-Fi issues I'm having, I don't know if I go on StreamYard on my computer, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. It looked like it was working, then it shuts off. So they kind of save those type of issues, which we've been having, all throughout the show. I'm just going to read off my computer once again. I'm reading all the scores from CrescentCitySports.com on their scoreboard. They're going to update the scores on it. Especially a lot of it's going to be from New Orleans schools, which so the New Orleans scores are going to update a little bit faster because we're in New Orleans, we're based out of New Orleans, of course. But as the night goes on, each and every score around the state is going to be updated. So some scores may not be updated. If they're not, I'm gonna have Jace go double check to make sure that game's over. I know St. Martinville is somebody else. I know that game got called off.
Yeah, I was about to say that game got called off
outside the stadium. So there's issues like that where you might have a fight in the field and the refs call it off. You might have an issue like we had at St. Martinville, unfortunately, where there's a shooting. We saw a lot of that last year. Thank God we haven't seen it all until now. But I remember last year that was
it was a big problem. It was a big problem last year, and especially at the beginning of the year. I mean, we've had 2 or 3 games 3 weeks in a row where we've had that problem, and it was a huge problem, and that's why this year's been tougher. Been more of a implement on, or more of a focus, I would say, on security. You've seen a lot of metal detectors, more metal detectors at football games, more security. Restricted sideline access as well. You've seen more of that, and it's because a lot of the stuff that happened last year, and you have to be prepared for crazy things that happen. So, uh, yeah, I mean, knock on wood, like you said, like before tonight, we haven't had any issues, but it's unfortunate that high school like it's Friday nights in a stadium is supposed to be a really good environment for a community to get together, enjoy some football. It's supposed to be some family friendly fun, and it's unfortunate we have to go and talk about this once again. Where I mean, it doesn't have to be necessary. Like for this to be involved for a Friday night football game, it's unbelievable that we can't even be safe going to a Friday night high school football game anymore.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate and it's a shame that it's been going to this once again. So it should not be needed at all. It's ridiculous.
Again, that's the thing about gun violence. Some things, obviously, a lot of people, of course, across the country are worried about gun violence, of course. Just given that in our generation, we've seen a lot of tragic incidents happen with gun violence, and a lot of people have died.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't want to touch on that subject too much, but it's a serious issue, not only in our communities, but in communities across the country. I know there's a very touchy subject for a lot of people, but that's the way it is. And when stuff like this happens, you're gonna talk about it, especially when it comes to do our fields, right?
Yeah.
Especially we're covering games like Jared. I think was at 2 games where that happened. Where I think and one of them in particular was at Cecilia.
Yeah.
What?
I think I was even at one game last year.
Yeah, no, it was at what is it, Acadian? Who was it? Who was it?
It was Acadian.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. It happened at Acadian. I'm not sure what the opponent was. I forgot it might have been Karen Crow. It may have been Karen Crow.
But it was probably Karen Crow. But I don't think. But shootings like that don't happen outside of the game like that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
And I always gotta say this, man. Like some issues don't have to be settled over a gun, bro. Like I'm being serious. Like I would rather have you fight with your fists than have a gun. Like there's no need to have a gun because usually not only are you ruining or taking away somebody else's life, but you're also ruining your lives, your life in the process.
There's no need.
Right, and I think the perfect example of that. Have you ever seen Friday, the movie Friday with Ice Cube and?
I haven't seen it. I mean, I've heard of it.
Okay, so there's a scene. I don't want to spoil it too much for people who have to see. It's a great comedy movie. It's a classic, right? Ice Cube's about to fight this dude, right? I think he's about to get a gun or something. And Ice Cube's dad, who's John Witherspoon, may you rest in peace. Great comedian.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't underrated comedian, if you don't know who he is, he played Granddad in the Boondocks. If that's not ringing the bell. But anyway, John Witherspoon's character, which is his dad, is like, use these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the time. Don't use that. Use these.
Yep.
These will save your life more than anything. And it's true. Because not only are you, like I said, you don't, when you use a gun, not only are you ruining or taking away somebody else's life, you're also ruining your life in the process. So there's no need for gun violence. Or rather, if you're going to use violence, use these. Don't.
No issue how big to take somebody.
Yeah, right. And that's as far as we're going to go into that subject.
Yeah.
Because that's a very deep subject, and I don't want to talk about this on a high school football podcast, But Jace, let's break down some games. Starting with yesterday. Sure. We got Dennis Springs 49, Perryville nothing, the Willow School 50, Ben Franklin 28, Bonneville 14, Higgins 12, St. John 42, East Iberville 12, Grand Lake 47, Maryville 22, Westminster Christian of Lafayette 56, Gidan 0.
Yeah.
Gaydon. Southern Lab picked up the huge victory over Kenwood, 13-8. Huge one for the Kins. As they've been going through a little bit of a skid as of late, so another big win.
2 or 3 games in a row that they've lost, so this was big to get back on track. And actually, I was at the Catholic Point Capit game. That game was over by the time we were in the third quarter. I was like, this game finished already, but they blew by. They flew right by that Southern Lab Kentwood game. But that's a really big win for Coach Asbury and the Kens get right back on track after a little bit of a skid you just mentioned.
Especially given the power ratings, because remember, both those teams are in Select Division 4 now.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
Kentwood was a non-select team. Now they're select. So it was a huge win for power ratings. Also a huge district win, of course, as
Yeah.
that game basically determined the district.
Pretty much.
So Southern Lab lost three straight games. Denham Springs, Madison Prep, and Kaplan.
Yep.
So huge win for the Kittens, of course. Logansport 40, Montgomery 8. Of course, we already mentioned Catholic Point B winning over St. Edmund 26-22. Lincoln Prep 30, Cedar Creek 6. Farnado 58, Crescent City nothing. Crescent City Christian nothing. Oakdale 33, Port Bear 14. Ascension Catholic 56, North Iberville 14. Oak Grove 48, Faraday 6, Franklin 38, Houma Christian 7. Chase, we talked about the Ascension Catholic, North Iberville, where they're going to be ready for the challenge. 56-14, kind of thing. I think they were ready. I just don't think they were ready for what was to come.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Oak Grove beat Fort Perry. Yeah.
Even before the
And
loss, I mean, I just didn't think that they would have been ready at that moment to play and really compete with Ascension Catholic, what they got this year, and some of the guys they have this year.
Mm-hmm. Oak Grove beat Faraday 48-6, so no shocker that Oak Grove blew out another opponent. And we'll break down another their opponent. Yeah.
Good team, Oak Grove. Yeah, Faraday. I think that's what they played, and Andy was actually at that game last night. Oak Grove and Faraday, and
we need proof. We need proof. Andy, show the pictures.
Got pictures coming up. So he's going to post them on our website. But he did tell me that Faraday has definitely been a proven program. The reason that they had such a good year this year is a lot of the young players that have played in the junior high bowl game. They've been stepping up and been playing a whole lot for this team. So the future is really bright. It's just this year, man, like Oak Grove's a machine. So it's going to be tough playing those guys, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and when was the last time Andy attended a game? I know he attended one like a few weeks ago, but I know he's been busy. So
he's been busy, but he was at Pope John Paul, St. Martin's a couple weeks ago. He was tonight. I think he was at went to go see Salmon play tonight. Slidell, and the last night was at Oak Grove Faraday. So he's been around. He's been covering a couple games this year, but life at home, it gets pretty insane with Sam.
He's got 2 kids now. Father of 2, man.
Yep.
But anyway, shout out Andy Bryson, by the way. Let's go back. Because I already mentioned the Franklin Houma Christian score 38-7. Franklin. Isidore Newman 41, Sarah T. Reed 6, Madison Prep 76, Collegiate Baton Rouge nothing. Glen Oaks 44, Helix Mentorship Academy 6. Jennings picked up a huge win over Notre Dame 17-16.
Yeah, I think Jennings' only loss of the year was beginning of the year against Iowa. So right now they've only have one loss, and this Jennings football team is, I believe they're in Division II non-select.
Yes. I think they're Division III non-select, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm gonna double check.
Okay. While you were double checking that, I mean, this is a really good Jennings football team. Ray John Zeno at the running back position. He's actually committed to playing in our Gridiron football All-American Bowl game. He's had over 1,000 yards this year. They got a pretty talented running quarterback as well. So they got a lot of different weapons there. And Coach Fuselier, I mean, he's done a great job with that program. I mean, obviously he had a lot of success at Kinder, won back-to-back state championships there, or led the Hornets to the state championship.
They're non-select Division II. You're right. Yeah, I know they're a 3A school, but I wasn't sure if they were Division III, Division II, because there's some 3A schools that are in Division II, and there's some 3A schools that are in Division III. It gets confusing at times. So I just want to make sure to double check.
Yes, but Jennings, Iowa, Iota, I mean those type of teams in that area, just keep an eye out for in that bracket because they can make a run.
Oh yeah, no doubt, Jason. Jennings, of course, has always been a great program. They've always been one of the top 3A programs in the state. Of course, I believe that is the alma mater of Travis Etienne.
Yep, the Etienne brothers.
So the Etienne brothers, yeah. So I mean, they've always had a lot of tradition, always had a lot of great teams, a lot of great talent that come over there. Jennings, of course, is in I believe is in the Lafayette area or the Lake Charles area.
It's like Charles, yeah, like it's like right. I mean, it's one of those last schools you go towards Texas.
Yeah.
It's one of those last cities.
Okay.
So it was around Lake Charles.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I know. Yeah, I knew they were in the 337. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
what part of the 337. Yeah, another big time win for the Bulldogs of Jennings. De La Salle defeated Booker T. Washington of New Orleans 47-6. Kaplan 44, Abbeville nothing. Westgate 56, North Vermilion 7. St. Michael the Archangel 17, Port Allen 7. West Washita picked up a pretty big win over Wasson 34-13. Of course, we mentioned Carr defeating Warren Easton 62-16 earlier. Avoyles defeated Bolton 52-0. LB Landry defeated Sophie B. Wright 41-21. Plain dealing, if you haven't heard, they had to cancel the game because I believe they only have 8-9 players or whatever. And somebody brought up an interesting point. It was actually Hunter Bauer, of course.
Yeah,
He's formerly the owner of GoPreps.com, and he mentioned that Plain Deal is one of those programs where they don't have a lot of players, so he's trying to advocate for an 8-man league for the LSA, which I think they probably should for some smaller schools who want to play football, because football is an economic, it's a great way to boost the economics in the community. And even if it's not 11-man football, even if it's 8-man football, it'll be good for some of the smaller communities to have a team where you create some economic, create a decent amount of economy off of football. Just making a decent amount of money. We've seen that. A lot of these towns kind of revolve around their high school football team. I mean, it's kind of especially like a state like Texas. We've seen that with Friday Night Lights. Not Friday Night. Is it Friday Night Lights? I forgot the name of the show.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of the show. Yeah, where you see the small towns just revolve around the high school football team, and there's actually some towns like that in Louisiana. So I think it's a big deal for AMA football. But the reason why I mentioned that is because they had to forfeit the game against Jonesboro Hodge, and that's an interesting topic that Hunter Bauer did bring up. But I think it's a good idea, Jason. What do you have to say about it?
I agree, especially with some of these, because you have a lot of like class A, class B. I mean, you got those classes down there, and MAIS has 8-man. That's not part of the LHSAA, but I feel like that is something. I feel like more football the better, and I feel like everybody should have the chance, the opportunity. So to play at a school or doesn't have football, I feel like that football needs to be around, because it's a great sport in terms of overcoming adversity, right? Because that's life. You're gonna get punched in the mouth, right? So like, what you're going to do? Are you going to get back up after falling down, or how do you respond to that? So I think football is a perfect sport for that, because it teaches valuable life lessons, and I do agree that these smaller schools, that 8-man football, 9-man football, I think you have a class for that. I mean, you have your divisions, your non-select, your select divisions, and might as well add class A, class B, because they play other sports. They play baseball, they play basketball, like they play other sports. Get them involved in the football field as well. So I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, exactly, Jason. By the way, yeah, I think it's a good idea, and Hunter Bauer brought that up, and when I first saw, I was like, I don't know, but then I started thinking about it. That's a pretty good idea. So that's a very interesting topic. I think that's gonna keep coming up, especially with a guy like Hunter Bauer. Even though he's not with GoPreps anymore, he sold it. He sold it now, so he's not on it anymore. However, I think because of what he's done for the state, just because everyone knows who Hunter Bauer is, just because of the coverage he's brought the state. GoPreps is a one-of-a-kind website, and he started that on his own. He did a really great job with that. Because of the success, he was able to sell for. I'm not sure how much he sold it for, but for him to give away something like that, I think it's just, I think he realized that one, it was time, and then because obviously he's got family too, and stuff happens where, you might have to make a decision like that. But I think it's a great. But I'm glad he brought that up, because that's gonna be something that's gonna keep getting brought up, and not only just this year, but the next couple of years. I think it's a good
Right.
idea. But anyway, Haynes defeated Young Audience's Charter 46-41.
Still undefeated,
Haynes is
huh?
that's still undefeated. Yeah. So yeah, and that's great. I mean, what a job that Coach Powell has. Yeah, it's Coach Powell. Let me actually double check the coach's name, but he's done a great job with that program, and I think that's worth mentioning. Like, I think Haynes, of course, they're more known for being in academic school. Um, they're just more known for being in academic school. So I
Yeah.
think I didn't realize Haynes was undefeated until like 2 weeks ago, and they still are
Is they're up there in the
8-0.
power rankings? I saw was like Haynes again. They're like third or fourth in the power
Yeah,
rankings. So,
yeah.
like wow. I mean, I'm a guy watch out for Coach Powell, and Coach Powell was at Cohen. Now he's
Yeah,
at
that's
Gavin. So like he's doing a good job with that program, and like this is the first time we brought up Haynes Academy, like if ever, So like the job that he's doing it's very incredible. Just bringing the not only program to relevancy, but having them undefeated at this point, really high in the power rankings. Like they're on the roll right now, and hey, I mean, just keep on down with them, and we'll see how far they go. We'll see how good in the playoffs. Once the playoffs start, Grant, we'll see how good this Haynes Academy football team is.
Oh yeah, we'll see for sure. I mean, they're off to a great start. I mean, like when you start doing, Ben Powell's done a great job with this program. It'll be very interesting to see, them in the playoffs. So, I know they really didn't have the strongest schedules per se, but
Yeah,
but they're undefeated, right?
wins and
That's what matters. It doesn't
they won
matter who
games.
you play. It matters if you beat them or not, and that's what matters most is the win loss column. And right now, they don't have a single it's a zero. They have a
Mhm.
zero next to their loss column. So
Wins a
and
win.
that's yeah, exactly. A win is a win, Jace. Uh, but anyway, the next score, Sacred Heart defeated North Central 49-0. Vermilion Catholic defeated Obelisk Catholic 50-21.
Yeah.
St. Brez defeated Tensaw 56-8. St. Martin's defeated Weston John 37-22. Um, Hamilton Christian defeated Oberlin 49-12. Northwood Lena defeated Lakeview 34-32. St. Mary's defeated LaSalle 30-0. Delta Charter defeated General Trust 84-82. We talked about that a little bit
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
There's probably some player of the week players coming out of that one for
I would think
sure.
so. I would think so.
Yeah, Ascension Episcopal from both teams. Ascension Episcopal defeated Highland Baptist 45-0. Elton defeated Bazille 22-6. Centerville defeated Haynes and Memorial 26-23. Riverside came out, had a little bit of a came out with a squeaky little squeaker there, 18-15. So Central Catholic played them really tough. Central Private defeated.
Little squeaker.
Yeah, I guess you could call it. Yeah. Central Private defeated Thrive Academy 58-30. Covenant Christian is still undefeated, 29-12 over Generate. So another big win for the Lions to remain undefeated. Fenton defeated Rose Pond 36-8. Haynesville defeated Arcadia 43.
About before we go to the next game, Grant. Our thoughts and prayers are as well. I'm not sure you heard the news from the Benton game, but Malachi Ziegler was carted off. It was a
I saw that.
Yep. So prayers go out to Malachi. I know he's one of the top quarterbacks in the 2027 class. So I did see that. So thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. So just saying that.
Yes.
Thoughts and prayers go out to him, and hopefully that he's recovering well.
Yep. Haynesville defeated Arcadia 43-8. White Castle defeated Ascension Christian 20-12. Lafayette Christian beat Walsh 43-7. A huge win for the Knights.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Lafayette Renaissance defeated Lake Arthur 26-21. Lakeside defeated Ringgold 56-20. So this is a game we talked about for one of the games of the week. Washita Christian and Mangum. Washita Christian 50, Mangum 16.
Wow. I mean, that is an eye opener because we were trying to figure out. I mean, we know Washita Christian's good. You saw, I mean, it's the state championships. Coach Fitzhugh the program that he has, I mean, you expect him to be good. They just haven't really been challenged that much this year. So they finally get a challenge and say, like, okay, how good is this team and this year's team? And for them to beat Mangum like they did, and if you compare, I mean, they're going to play Oak Grove, right, in a couple of weeks. So Oak Grove squeaked by Mangum. And here, this was a statement from Washington Christian for Oak Grove, like taking care of business against Mangum. So that's going to be interesting. And yeah, I mean, a huge statement win for Washington Christian that they are legit. They are for real as usual, and it's going to set up a great matchup at the end of the season with those two powerhouse programs at the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely, Chase. Yeah, they're a scary team for sure. We always expect them to be good, but to beat a team like Mangum 50-16. Oh wow, UNLV just took the lead over Boise State. That was a great touchdown
What
pass, too.
quarter
Holy
is that?
crap! What?
What quarter are they in?
I think like near the end of the third quarter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whoever this backup quarterback is for UNLV, yeah, you need to give him $100,000 for
Yeah, he
sure.
needs the NIL deal.
Yeah, and this time make sure it's on signed agreement this time.
Oh yeah.
UNLV.
Make sure, yeah, absolutely.
Damn, man. But anyway, Mansfield defeated Winfield 20-14. Red River defeated Manny 48-8. South Platte defeated Metairie Park Country Day. I don't keep saying Metairie Park Country. I don't want to keep just don't say Country
Yeah, I
Day.
always say
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, 28-7. I don't know why I did that. I don't. Sometimes just got it.
It is their
I
full
don't know.
name. Like, I mean,
It is a full name, but yeah, Country Day. I don't know. I looked at the short name better. Country
Yeah.
Day. North Lake Christian 46. St. Thomas Aquinas 2. The Metairie Park stuff. I think that's just them trying to be proper. I guess I don't
yeah,
know.
sure.
Green Oaks. North Cato defeated Green Oaks 34-24. Kinder defeated Holy Savior Menard 46-7. Homer defeated Magnolia School of Excellence 50-8. Pope John Paul II defeated Independence 45-20. Dunham defeated East Bell 49-6. Northeast loses they lost a game to Episcopal 44-16.
Yep.
A game we already talked about earlier. But at least Jace will. Well, are you coming to Dunham? Are you coming to Episcopal Dunham game next week?
So
I know you haven't.
I haven't looked at it yet, but like I try to avoid, like, whenever I get the chance not to cover Episcopal, I like to see other teams play. But this game's just so big, Grant. Number one versus number two. Like, I'm gonna have to be there. I have to cover it. So like I'll be there for Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's a big game for sure. But Slaughter Community Control. What happened? Why did he leave the scoreboard? What the? Oh my God! Hold on, I've got to pull. Got to scroll all the way back down again. Give me 1 second.
Oh, it went
Where
right
did
back
we
to
leave
the
off?
top.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why I did. Oh, here we go. Red River. So we already mentioned.
Yeah, we mentioned.
I couldn't. Yeah, they beat Manny 48-8. I just realized. Wait, I just read it like a regular score. That's how you know how much Manny's fell. Is that they're losing to Red River 48-8. Oh my God.
I believe they're still winless too.
Yeah, no, they sure are. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I read the score like it was a regular score. That's how much. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just incredible how much that program has fallen since Kurt. And then last year they had a pretty good year, but I mean, that's shocking. How they're so. I still have a winning game, considering how dominant Manny has been in that region and in that district, and of course in the playoffs. Damn, I just read over the score like it was nothing, man. The Slaughter defeated Baker 13-6. Beekman Charter defeated Rayville 30-13. Catholic New Iberia defeated Laurelville 42-7. Union Parish defeated Darwinwood Charter 42-20. West St. Mary defeated Delcombe 34-23. Delhi Charter defeated Bass 60-28. The Quincy defeated East Beauregard 44-0. Pickering defeated Pine Prairie 41-20. South Beauregard defeated St. Louis Catholic 35-7. Lake Charles College Prep defeated Westlake 42-12. Northwest defeated Mamu 39-6. Marshville defeated Vidalia 50-24. Uh, North Webster defeated Richwood 16-8. University Lab, better known as U High, defeated Parkview Baptist 42-7. St. James defeated Downsville 35-6. Fisher defeated Jefferson Rise 35-14. Iota defeated Bill Plot 42-6. Joel Sumner defeated Pine 13-6. That was game one against of the week we talked about. A huge win for the Cowboys, and they're now set up for a huge district title game with Amy in week 10 if they win in week 9, which they probably should. Because I think they got a little bit of a breather in the next game. But Amy defeated Albany 47-0. Speaking of the Warriors, Sterlington defeated Bastrop 37-22. Patterson defeated Berwick 32-27. Bogalusa defeated Springfield 50-0. Buckeye defeated Caldwell Parish 27-20. Monkeys shut out Kia 41-0. Oh man, good win for the Panthers. A revenge game.
Yep.
From last season's loss.
Regular season loss last year, so have a chance to win the district, go undefeated, and really set themselves up good in the playoffs when the brackets are released in a couple weeks.
Yep. Church Point defeated Crowley 43-25. Northwood Shreveport defeated Southwood 42-0. And Southwood, of course, still looking for the first win in over 5 years. Tioga defeated Peabody 52-28. Plaquemine defeated Terra 53-0. St. Thomas More defeated Rain 61-0. North Dakota defeated Woodlawn of Shreveport 55-6. Franklin Parish defeated Grant 53-0. Franklinton picked up a big win over Pearl River 49-40, and that all but sealed their district title. Because so that basically sealed it right there. Yeah, it did. That was probably the next toughest opponent. McDonald 35 defeated George Washington Carver 42-7. Estruma defeated Westfall 26-9, and I believe that may have locked up the district. I believe that puts Estruma back in first place.
It's going to come down to Estruma Plaquemine because and Plaquemine's still undefeated in district. Now Estruma did lose to St. Michael in district, but it could be a three-way. I mean, it could be a tie if Plaquemine is able to. It's still going to be the district championship basically between Plaquemine.
Yep. And Laurent, the reason why I said Franklinton basically locked the district title, and it's because Lakeshore lost against Laranger 28-21.
I saw that.
Huge win for the Wolves. Leesville defeated Washington Marion 67-16. And by the way, Cecil Collins was at that game. Former Leesville great, and even LSU great, if not for a few, I guess you could say, mistakes or bad choices that I made during this time throughout LSU. But one of the great running backs to come out of the state, and just him making some bad decisions in his life ultimately cost what probably would have been one of the greatest careers
in LSU history. But it is great to see his life turn around. His personal life is awesome to see. You love it for him. Great comeback story for him. It's awesome to see from a personal life standpoint. And that Cecil being a legend over there at Leesville, he wants to see what this Xavier Ford kid's all about. So I'm sure he wants to go and see him as well. So I mean, just absolute legend. Louisiana High School Hall of Famer too.
Livonia defeated Capital 48-8. South Lafourche defeated Morgan City 77-35. Minden defeated Bossier 41-2. Bruley defeated McKinley 32-14. Opelousas picked up the huge district win over Cecilia 28-27. Big time win for the Tigers, considering the fact that they struggled early on the season. We both saw that. I believe they started off the season 1-3. Since then, they've won 3 straight, and Cecilia being the 3rd straight win, so they're now 4-3. And they will have the next 2 matches with Biggest Brobridge and Beauchain, so they'll probably finish with a 6-3 record if everything works out. Of course, Opelousas, and I was looking it up. So I was looking at Division II rankings. Since we're talking about 4 schools, but Franklin's is number 1, Lutcher's number 2, Franklin Parish is number 3. Jennings is number 4. Plaquemine is number 5. Iowa is number 6. Lakeshore is 7. Iowa is 8. Well, but yeah. So I think it's updated, but we'll see it next week. Where the power range. This is kind of the unofficial power range that Go Preps has up right now. Mendez is at number 9, and North Dakota is at number 10. Opelousas is at number 15.
Can you imagine being like what was it, maybe that 15-18 game, whatever, like a evenly seeded game, and you have to play Opelousas? Imagine being like a number 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
Second round, Opelousas. Like, you don't want to play Opelousas. They're still very talented, and it's deceiving, Graham, because we talk about a slow start to the year, but they played some very tough games, and I think at this point in the season, you're seeing that tough schedule really help them out. At this point, they get a big district win over Cecilia to really pretty much get the district championship all locked up. And I think Cecilia went for 2 late in the game to try to go ahead, and Opelousas was able to get a stop defensively and make it an unsuccessful 2-point conversion, and Opelousas ran the rest of the clock out. I believe is what happened in that football game. So big win for Coach Zachary and the Tigers, and getting a big win. And right now, like, you saw what they did last year, going under the radar and making all the way to the state championship. Talent-wise, nobody wants to play this Opelousas team, and that could definitely be the team with the most upside, I feel like, when everything's going right, and because of the athletes they have of making a run at the state championship just because of what they have on their roster.
Yeah, no doubt, Jason. Like we saw last year, like the thing about Division 2 non-select is that there's no separation between all the teams.
No.
Like it doesn't matter if you're 1 through 28 or whatever it is, how many teams make the playoffs. There's really not much separation between all the teams, so anybody can make a deep run in these playoffs. And it's not because all the teams are bad. No, it's actually just because there's literally zero separation. It's competitive, right?
Right.
It's the biggest wild card of all the brackets that are going to come out during the playoffs. It is definitely the biggest. Ashton Johnson just scored, by the way, so Boise State to take the lead. But anyway, because this is no separation between a lot of good teams.
Your biggest Cinderella can come through that bracket. A 20-something seed could be in the dome in this bracket. Like a big Cinderella can make a run here in that bracket.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, Jace. Northside defeated Coma 41-21. DeRitter defeated Lagrange 55-12. Edie White won 45-0 over South Terrebonne. Iowa defeated Units. Iowa defeated Units 48-21. Broadmoor defeated Bel Air 36-16. And St. Charles picked up a huge win over Belle Chase. This was a game we didn't talk. I don't think we talked about this on the show, but I talked about on my dad's show, on my dad's radio show on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. in New Orleans. But I mentioned this game was kind of an upset alert game. Because St. Charles won at 5, but that record's deceiving. They dealt with some injuries throughout the season. They're a young team, but they're a very well coached team. And you're seeing that with a 14-13 victory over Belle Chase. And if you're going to score 13 points against St. Charles, that's exactly what the Comets want you to do. And you don't want to play their game. You play your game, not play their game, and you ended up playing their game. So that's what happened at the end. But Loyola Prep defeated Booker T. Washington of Shreveport 35-6. Thibodeau defeated McMain 57-14. Of course, that comes the day after Drake Trosclair was let go or relieved of his duties from being the head coach at Thibodeau, which really weird timing considering the fact that the day before the game. That's all we know about the situation. But he was currently let go from that position. Zachary defeated Woodlawn of Baton Rouge 45-21. Fletcher defeated AJ Allender 56-0. Douglas defeated Abramson 48-14. Oh, sorry. Watch versus Shaw defeated Kenner Discovery 79-0. That's it. I guess you can say that's the statement when Penn Shaw. Because they're trying to make a point. Hey, we're still here. Let's beat the crap out of the team 70-0.
It's not like Kenner Discovery's bad. Like that's a pretty pretty good team that you beat 79-0. So it's not like you're
Yeah.
just being some JV team or something. Like that's a pretty good team on the other side. So like,
Well, Shaw season is a JV team because they put up 79 points over. So they're going to see every team as a JV team from here on out because
right,
that's because right now they want to be the Bullies, and that's what Hank has proved. Hank Tierney and the Shaw Eagles have proven the last 2 weeks. Remember last week, as I said earlier in the show, they beat Walker, who's a really good team by the way.
59-14.
Yeah, I mean, and with their back, they're scoring with their backups in. So that not only to show you how good the team is currently, but the future looks bright as well for the Eagles.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I was talking with Shaw's defensive coordinator, Adam Giglia. Of course, he was the defensive coordinator, Brother Martin, the last 3 years. So he coached both Noah and Jackson. He was the defensive coordinator Noah's senior year, and then he was the defensive coordinator Little Brother's my freshman and sophomore year. Then he left for Easton after his sophomore year. But I talked to him before the game. One of the things he told me is he really likes his defense because a lot of those guys are young. And Jace, I don't necessarily how much you remember, because I know you did cover that Brother Martin team in 2020, the undefeated Catholic League team. They finished the regular season undefeated. They're undefeated Catholic League champs. But a lot of Noah was one of two seniors on that defense.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of those guys were young, like Rylan and Brendan LeBlanc. All those guys were like sophomores, juniors, even some freshmen were playing on that defense as well. So and that's what he told me they reminded him of. So Shaw's defense, they're going to return a lot. They're offensively, they're going to lose a lot of guys, but defensively, they're going to return a lot of players back. So
that's what
Shaw's looking.
That's what you need to be a state championship team. Because we know about their offense. Mason Wilson, he's a really good quarterback for him. We don't give him enough credit because they got 2 Michigan commits on their football team. But he's a good quarterback. Jasper Parker in the backfield, Jacob to throw the football to, the Michigan commit. So if their defense playing like that too, you would have to say, U High when they're at their, it's kind of what I said about Opelousas, right? When U High's at their best, watch out, they're scary. But right now, just from what I've seen from Shaw on a consistent level basis, they have to be the favorite in that bracket right now to come out as state champions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say U High has something to say too, but Shaw, the way they're playing, oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. But U High has the upside like an Opelousas. So when they're clicking on all cylinders, they can be a state championship favorite as well. But on a consistent basis, from what I've seen so far, the Eagles have right now. This game was today. I'll go towards the Eagles.
No doubt, Jace. But yeah, let's keep going with the scores. Vanderbilt Catholic defeated Assumption 41-6. Brobridge defeated Beauchamp 56-13. Neville showed us that game against Washington Parish was not a trap game. And they even said so on their Twitter, using uppercase and lowercase letters for it's a trap game. Trolling everybody that said it was a trap game, which was directed, of course, at me and Jace as well, because we said this was a trap game.
We were part of that.
Neville won over Washington 41-14. So there's that. Neville improves to 8-0.
Breaking news.
Well, they're legit when they beat Ruston last week, and the very last week of the year, they will play Alexandria. So really excited about that. 2 undefeated teams.
That's cool.
Sam Houston defeated New Iberia 42-7. St. Paul's defeated North Shore 49-0. West Monroe defeated Pineville 41-13. Salmon defeated Slidell 31-14. St. Amant defeated Live Oak 42-26. Mandeville defeats Ponchatoula 34-7. And speaking of Mandeville, they'll have a big time match against St. Paul's next week. If Mandeville wins, they're district champions. If not, the St. Paul's Covington team the St. Paul's Covington matchup will determine if St. Paul's wins the outright district title or it's a three-way tie between Mandeville, Covington, and St. Paul's. So a lot of chaos.
Paul's fans next week.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Although I don't think they want to. Although I don't think they want to, but they understand that hey, if you want to be
yep.
district champions, then yeah. But no, like I mean, they're two crosstown rivals, so they don't want to, but they probably have to.
Now we
Let's say
have to
that.
at least for 1 week before they hit the
Yep.
play.
Yep. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Walker defeated Dutchtown 44-24. Turlings defeated East Ascension 20-14.
Yep.
East Jeff defeated John Eric 20-16. Hanville defeated East St. John 47-18. That's another big time match. Hanville and Dutchtown next week. Big time matchup in the River Parishes.
Oh yeah, rated for sure.
Because Dutchtown's back in a groove. They got their quarterback back from
Yep.
injury.
Yep.
So that game's gonna be a huge game. Evangel seems to be getting off on the right foot with a 55-27 win over Huns, the first time all year where they've had back-to-back victories. So the Eagles, of course, are rolling offensively. Pops Houston, a lot of Johnny Casey, a lot of different players on the offense, and it seems like not only is their offense cooking, but the defense is kind of catching along as well after allowing 76 points to Captain Shreve a couple weeks ago. Uh, so RIP the defensive coordinators. But anyway, Terrebonne defeated HL Bourgeois 20-7. 20-7. Calvary Baptist defeated Huntington 21-14. Jesuits from Ford defeated John Curtis Christian 17-10. Catholic of Baton Rouge defeated Scotlandville 48-12. Central defeated Liberty 35-20. Desharan defeated Central Lafourche 41-0. Chalmette defeated Palm Loop 16-6. Covington defeated Hammond 49-13. C. Bird defeated Benton 37-21. Westminster Christian of Opelousas defeated Birchman's Academy of Sacred Heart, I'm assuming. Yeah. Sacred Heart 15-0. Parkway defeated Captain Shreve 52-33. So Karen Crow defeated Sulphur 26-21 off of a crazy play to end the game.
Yeah.
Karen Crow's game-winning field goal got blocked. However, Karen Groff's lineman picked up the ball because it was still a live ball and ran in the end zone to win 26-21. Crazy stuff happening. The crazy result of the 33-7, Jace.
Yeah, that was really insane. I mean, what can you say? It was a crazy game to lose a football game. We were talking about earlier with Sulphur and Karen Crow as well. I mean that is insane for sure. But also want to give a shout out. I just saw this too on Twitter. Richie Mills just tweeted this out. But they were at Independence. You know, a lot of if you go around the state of Louisiana before the coin toss and going to the football game. Everybody was paying tribute to Coach Bags. I mean, it was around the state. I mean, I was there at Catholic Point de P last night. I mean, on Thursday. They paid tribute to Coach Bags before the game. Episcopal tonight before the game. They paid tribute to Coach Bags. And then at Independence, LeBron Tofield, all of Coach Bags, former players were at Independence as well. At the coin toss, like all of his former players were there, and they had a moment of silence. So it was a special moment for them, you know, to honor Coach Bags, and you know it felt a little eerie, right? I mean, it's been a tough year in Louisiana high school football. I mean, you lose a bunch of legends, legendary figures this year. I mean, talk about Ed Daniels, right, at the beginning of the year. And now, I mean, Charles Baglio, Coach Bags. I mean, it's been a tough year, just in Louisiana high school football. You know, he's going to be really missed, but you know, that was a special moment. And you know, like that's what high school football means, right? Everybody rallying together. You know, it showed. Like you look at his resume. Grant is a great resume. I mean, he's won 77% of his games, over 200 victories, went to the state championship twice. But to see the impact he had on a whole community and around the state of Louisiana from the high school side and what he did at LSU as well, it just comes to show you what kind of impact this man's had for high school football and just around the state of Louisiana. So once again, tributes go out to the Baglio family, and man, that was yeah. I mean, it definitely feels different, you know, without Coach Bags being around.
Oh yeah, definitely, Jace. But yeah, it's we touched on that in the last show. You know, just Coach back when he meant to stay. It was a big loss but for everyone around the state, not only in the New Orleans area where Independence is at and on the
Mhm.
North Shore, but just around the state, just because he was the founder of the LFCA, the
Yep.
Louisiana Football Coach Association, and then um, of course, he was also a longtime assistant at LSU, so he touched a lot of
Yep.
lives on LSU's campus. He was the director of high school relations over
Mhm.
there for the LSU's football team, and he was. I mean, it's kind of a role where you're not going to get the glamour of being on the field as a coach, but he was very important
Yeah.
for just getting for laying the foundation for LSU because he was there late creating relationships with
Yep.
coaches from across the state and making sure that like kids weren't getting left out. I think that was a huge reason why LSU had so much success in the mid 2000s went under Coach Saban and of course under Les Miles and it still continued on with Coach O and then after 2021 he retired
Right.
to his home, where to the Teshborough Parish, where he unfortunately died in a tragic car accident. But anyway, Jay, let's get back to the school board real quick. We're almost done. Acadiana defeated Southside 43-10. Kind of,
Yeah.
I would it's shocking to an extent, but given how dominant Acadiana has been, it's really not that shocking
Yeah.
to
Not
us.
really.
Really, just Acadiana is playing some awesome football as of late.
They've been a
Uh,
top 5 team all
check,
year long. They really have been, and it's going to be fun. I don't know where you really rank them. I mean, you're going to like have the conversation like where do they rank with the Nevils, with the Ashes, with the Russins. Like they're going to fall with the Catholics. They're going to fall somewhere along those lines. But they've been playing like a top 5 team all year long.
yeah, and another score, crazy score, 76-52, airline over Nacogdoches Central. So of course, no defense being played in the Shreveport
Very
area
good point.
once again. But anyway, uh, Alexandria defeated Ruston 40-36.
Yeah.
This is a game we didn't really talk about at the beginning of the show. I just want to wait till the last moment. This is the game of the week for us, really across the state. See if Ruston can bounce back after a tough loss to Neville last week, and then of course Alexandria's undefeated. They're playing some of their best football right now, and tonight was another huge statement win for the Trojans of Alexandria Senior High School. Chase, talk about this game. What did it shock you that Alexandria won? Like this is a game we both picked Ruston, but we also both said that we would not be surprised if Alexandria ended up winning this game.
Right, because it was one of those special games, right? And I figured Ruston was going to come back and play well. They let's face the facts. I mean, they went on the road in a very tough place to play, and played a really good Ash football team and lost by 4. So it wasn't like they Coach Ball had these guys ready to play, but it just comes to show you how good this Ash football team really is, and the fact that we talk so much about JT Lindsay, right, Grant, the receivers they have, but they have 2 quarterbacks. I believe both were in the same class. I believe they're both 2027 guys, and they're both good. So like it's just like pick your poison with both these guys. I believe Carson Sellers and Max Gaysad, I believe is his
Mhm.
last name. But they got 2 really good quarterbacks. Coach Botman is an excellent play caller, offensive guru. So he can definitely dial it up. JT Lindsay in the backfield, like this is a really good football team at Ash, and you can say this team was a play away from winning a state championship. This team is probably better than that team. That's how good this Ash football team is, and they can make a legit run. I think it wasn't a letdown from Ruston because they were ready to play. This just shows you how good this Ash football team is. I'm
Mhm.
excited to talk about this one with Alex on Ball in the Boot and get his perspective since he was there. But I'm excited about it when I get a chance to talk to him and talk deeply about how they're able to outscore Ruston because Ruston was able to put up just seeing some of the highlights that he posted. Josh Brantley had himself a good game. Ahmad Hudson made some plays in that football game. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just one of those wild games, and the defense at the end was able to get a fourth down stop to preserve the
Yep.
win. So big win for Ash, and like I said at the beginning of the show, in the past, that Ash was always right there. They just weren't able to
Hmm.
win these type of games against the Rustons of the world or the West Monroes of the world, those type of teams, and now able to do that no matter what where it's at, home away, doesn't really matter. Able to win that game is just so huge for this team, a confidence booster for this program. And man, if they can win the district championship, Grant, like I mean, we gotta be talking about Ash, like maybe even that same tier as Carr. I mean, anytime you beat Rustin, you Rustin Devil, West Monroe,
Hmm.
like all in the same year, like yeah,
Yeah.
you deserve to be in that category for sure.
Yeah, and we talked about their Division One select. We've all said, we both said if you want to be the best team Division One select, you got to beat either Catholic or Card to get there. But Alexandria's making themselves known that hey, like we're in the same tier as you. Like you got to go through us
Hmm.
if you want to get to where you need to go. And another one like this over Neville proves that, and well, not Neville, Rustin proves that,
Yeah,
and then then of course, they will play Neville the very last week of the year. So if they win that one, I mean, we're talking about a whole new tier. I mean, we're talking about the top three teams:
that's sure.
Car.
Yeah,
I mean, Catholic. I mean, just those. I mean, Division One selects to be very exciting. Of course, Acadian is in that as well.
I think they're in that list
And then,
really too, Grant. I really do. I think as far as elite teams are concerned, there's only what maybe five or six of these out there in the entire state. I think they are. I think they're in that elite status of being able to win a game like that. No matter what, home away doesn't matter. Get that win. It means a lot, and they are. I mean, right there at that elite status in Louisiana high school football, getting a win like that.
oh yeah, definitely, Jace. Right now the top 10 teams right now in Division One select. Card number one, Alexandria's now number two, KDN is three, Catholic of Baton Rouge is four, Rummel's five,
Hmm.
Fernley's Catholic six, Seabird seven, Brother Martin's at eight, St. Thomas More at nine, and Jesuit of course is at 10.
Yeah.
So pretty stacked
Yeah.
in general. I mean, my God. But anyway,
Me crazy.
Jace, that's gonna wrap the show today. I mean, of course, tomorrow there's the big match. It's all of them are New Orleans because that's usually where Saturday high school games are being played. Apparently, it's always the Saturdays, but
Yeah.
just because there's a lack of stadiums in our area, right? You know what I'm saying? So lots of you don't see Saturday games everywhere else in the state because they actually have their own stadiums. New Orleans,
Mhm.
we don't. We got to write them out. But some of the games, two of the big games that happen tomorrow, of course, Holy Cross and DeBrummel, which is a game that will be broadcast on a 102.9 FM here in the city of New Orleans. And then, of course, you got St. Aug and Brother Martin. Um, it's seven later that night, 7 o'clock. If you don't want to, if you're not a big LSU fan, but you just like high school, but you like football in general, St. Aug Brother Martin will be played at Tad Gormley on tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. But then also, I just also want to mention the Holy Cross Rummel. Uh, Ken Drahan will be on the call on the radio. I believe it's also be broadcast at CrestCitySports.com as well. And he will be on the call with Eric Held. Of course, me and Jace both know Coach Held pretty well. He's the president of the Louisiana High School Coaches Association, but he also does some broadcasting stuff here and there.
Yeah.
So if big two big Catholic League games tomorrow, of course. Romo's got they got some tough games out of them. Of course, Holy Cross. I know they're dealing with some issues. That's still gonna be a tough game for the Raiders. Tomorrow, I mean next week, they'll have to play Jesuit, as I mentioned earlier in the show. That's a pretty underrated rivalry in this area. And then also, of course, the last week of the year, they got Carr, which could be a district title
Hmm.
matchup. For the if Carl wins, of course, we'll have the outright. If Rommel wins, it'll be a tie or whatever. But anyways, big district. But Rummel's a big. The next 3 games are huge for Rummel if they want to keep their district title hopes alive. But anyway, Jace, that's gonna wrap the show today. Once again, I'm Grant Chachere. That was almost Gridiron football.
Was
It's been a little while since it's been a little while since I've said that. But this is Grant Chachere, of course, the owner of Rougarou Sports Media, and also the also a reporter and for CrescentCitySports.com. Make sure to like this video if you're on YouTube and subscribe. Also, if you're on Twitter, make sure to follow us. And I just realized I used the wrong thing. I just realized we used access granted.
Yeah.
We originally had Friday nights on the Bayou, but because remember we had the Wi-Fi issues. So
all the changes and everything. And
oh my god!
I should tell you.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, we just kept going on. But anyway, the things up there. Just follow us your sports media on Twitter and Instagram. Oh my god! But anyway, this is Jace Lejeune. Go ahead.
We wrap up. Do we have any questions or comments or anything that came through?
I haven't seen any, so if it would have answered by now. But
okay.
But anyway, Jace Lejeune of Gridiron Football. Yep. Make sure to follow him at Jace Lejeune on Twitter, and also make sure to follow up on anything on GridironFootball.com. Yep. They got a lot of great stuff coming up. And also the bowl game coming up as well. Yep. So it's gonna be big next 2 months for them. But yeah, let's go wrap up today's show, and this is actually Friday Nights on the Bayou, but for some reason Access Grant is on there.
Access Grant.
Like I said, we had a lot of technical difficulties to start the show. There was Friday Nights on the Bayou, I believe, at the show, start of the show, and then it's just a bunch of craziness.
Access Grant. So
So we will. Yeah, and speaking of Access Grant, we will be doing a show tomorrow during the day. Where I'm just talking about the college football scene and kind of give my predictions about all the big games, including LSU. So make sure to check that out as well. But anyway, you guys have a good night.
Yep.